I was folding laundry when I noticed an envelope slipped under the door. Who even sends letters anymore? I muttered, picking it up. The handwriting looked familiar. Familiar enough to make my heart stop. I tore it open, my fingers trembling. Emma, it began. My breath caught. It was him, Alex. I hadn't heard from him in 7 years. 7 years of questions, of aching nights, of pretending I was over him. My eyes scanned the words. He mentioned a secret, something about why he had to leave, and that I deserved to know the truth. I dropped onto the couch, the letter shaking in my hands. I could barely breathe. My mind raced. Was this a trick? A cruel joke? Claire! I called out, my voice shaking. You have to see this. Claire appeared in the doorway, eyebrows raised. What is it now? A bill you can't pay? She teased, but I could see her curiosity spark. I handed her the letter. She skimmed it, her expression shifting from playful to cautious. Emma, are you sure this isn't some scam? I mean, Alex. She shook her head. He just disappeared years ago. People don't do that without reason. Her words were meant to protect me, but they didn't calm the storm inside. I know he left, Claire, but he's reaching out. After all this time, don't you see? This could be my chance to finally know why. I clutched the letter to my chest. Claire crossed her arms. Or it could be a trap. You've waited 7 years. Maybe it's time to move on instead of reopening old wounds. I felt a sting at her words, but I couldn't let go. Move on? How do I move on when I've had nothing but silence? I can't just pretend he didn't matter. My voice cracked and I turned away to hide the tears. I had imagined this moment for years, the moment he'd explain, apologize, maybe even say he missed me. But nothing had prepared me for holding this letter in my hands. I'll help you, Claire finally said, softer now. But promise me you'll be careful. You don't know what's behind this. I nodded, determination overtaking the fear. I need to find out the truth. I need to know why he left. My mind replayed every memory, every promise we had made. I remembered the day we met, the way he smiled, the way he said I was the only person he wanted to share his life with. I remembered making plans, dreaming of a future that now felt like a cruel joke. I sat there, letter in hand, knowing that this was the start of something I couldn't ignore. I have to do this, I whispered to myself. Claire watched me, worry in her eyes, but she didn't stop me. I could feel my heart pounding, a mix of hope and fear. Whatever this secret was, I had to uncover it. 7 years of waiting had led me here, and I wasn't turning back. The first step was finding the truth, no matter how much it hurt. I walked past the coffee shop where Alex and I used to meet every Saturday, my stomach tightening with memories. The smell of roasted beans hit me and I froze. Emma? A familiar voice called. I turned to see Lily, her hair tied back, a warm smile on her face. Lily? I breathed, feeling a mixture of relief and hesitation. She came closer, eyes searching mine. You look tense. What's going on? I held up the letter I had received. It's from him, I whispered. Alex. He's back in some way, or at least he wants me to think he is. Lily's eyes widened. Emma, are you sure this is a good idea? Chasing ghosts never ends well. I can't just ignore it, I said, gripping the letter tighter. After 7 years, I need answers. My voice wavered and I looked down, feeling the familiar sting of betrayal. Lily put a hand on my shoulder. I get it. I do. But remember how much he hurt you. He vanished without a word. You deserve to protect yourself. I shook my head, frustration bubbling. Protect myself? I've been living with his absence for years. Don't you think I need closure? I could see her struggling to find the right words. You want closure, but you might find more pain, she said gently. I just don't want you to fall apart again. I clenched my fists. I'm already falling apart. Don't you see? This is the only way I can fix it. I wandered inside the coffee shop, my eyes scanning the tables where we used to sit, laughing and sharing dreams. I remembered Alex's smile, the way he tilted his head when he listened to me, how he made me feel like the only person in the world. My chest tightened, memories pressing in on me. He was so perfect, I muttered almost to myself. Or maybe I just thought he was. Lily followed me, her voice soft. Emma, you're remembering the good. Don't let it blind you to what really happened. I swallowed hard. I know what happened. He left. But I can't stop thinking about what he might say, what he might explain. I wandered toward the corner, where I spotted a framed photo of us on the wall of the old shop. I picked it up, brushing dust off the glass. We looked happy, I whispered, tears welling up. I thought we had everything. Lily reached for my hand. It's okay to feel, but don't let it consume you. You're stronger than you think. I have to know, I said, a determination settling over me. I can't let him keep me in the dark anymore. There's someone who might know why he disappeared. I need to find them. Lily nodded reluctantly. Just promise me you'll be careful. Don't let your anger or longing make you reckless. I looked at her, appreciating her concern. I promise I'll be careful. But I have to do this for me. I can't keep living in the shadows of the past. She sighed, squeezing my hand. Then go. Find your answers. And if you need me, I'm here. I stepped outside, the photo still in my hand, feeling a mix of fear and hope. The streets we once walked together seemed different, haunted by memories, yet I knew I had to face them. It was time to confront the past, no matter what it held. I waited outside the cafe, my fingers twisting nervously around my bag strap. He should be here any minute, I muttered to myself. When Michael finally arrived, he looked older than I remembered from the photos Alex had shown me. Emma? He asked, voice cautious. Yes, I said, my stomach tightening. You're Michael. He nodded slowly. I knew Alex cared about you. I mean, in his way. But some things, I guess you deserved to hear. My heart lurched. Tell me everything, I said, voice trembling. Michael sighed, rubbing his temples. I don't want to hurt you, Emma. But the truth, Alex didn't just leave because he had to. He chose to. He wanted more, bigger opportunities. He didn't think anyone would understand. I blinked, my chest tightening. You mean he left me? My voice was barely a whisper, though I could feel the heat rising in my cheeks. Yes, Michael admitted. He thought leaving was the only way to get ahead. He didn't consider what it would do to you. My hands clenched into fists. I waited for him 7 years. 7 years of thinking he'd come back. And he just abandoned me. I'm so sorry, Emma, he said, looking down. I never wanted you to hurt like this. I didn't know how to stop him. He was ambitious, reckless even. My tears burned behind my eyes, but rage burned hotter. Reckless? That's what you call destroying someone's life? He was my life. I stood abruptly, pacing. And you, why are you telling me now? Why weren't you honest before? Michael hesitated. Because I didn't want to interfere. And because I was afraid. Alex, he didn't like anyone questioning his choices. I laughed bitterly, the sound cutting through the quiet cafe. Afraid? Afraid of what? Facing the damage he left behind? I can't believe I wasted all this time hoping he'd come back. And you, why now? What's in it for you? Michael shook his head. Nothing. I couldn't live with the guilt anymore. You deserve to know. I sat down again, my hands trembling. Guilt? That's not enough. I need to make sure this doesn't just stay buried. I can't let him think he can hurt people and get away with it. You mean revenge? Michael asked cautiously. I clenched my jaw. Maybe. Or maybe I just need control over my own life. I can't keep waiting for him to fix what he broke. I need to fix me. He nodded slowly. I understand. Just be careful, Emma. He has a way of complicating things. I gave a sharp nod, determination replacing the tears and anger. I've been a victim for too long. It's time I decide my path. I'll confront him, demand answers, and if he can't give them, I'll make sure he understands the cost of his choices. Michael hesitated, then handed me a small envelope. This might help. It's from the last project he worked on before leaving. You might find some answers here. I took it with shaking hands. Thank you, I said softly, though my mind was already racing. I left the cafe, clutching the envelope like a weapon. 7 years of waiting, 7 years of pain, and now I was ready to take control. I wasn't helpless anymore. Not with the truth finally in my hands. I first noticed Daniel at the library, standing over a stack of books like he owned the place. Excuse me, I said, nervously tucking a strand of hair behind my ear. Do you know where the old city archives are? He turned and my breath hitched. His smile was easy, confident, but not arrogant. "Yeah, I think I can help," he said, his voice smooth, almost teasing. "Follow me." I hesitated for a moment, but something in his eyes made me trust him, just a little. As we walked, I couldn't help asking, "Do you live around here?" He shrugged. "Not really. Just in town for a bit. Research, work, the usual." I studied him carefully. "You make it sound casual. You're too charming to be casual." He chuckled. "Maybe I just like talking to people who ask interesting questions." I felt a strange flutter in my chest. "Interesting questions, huh? Like what?" He glanced at me, one eyebrow raised. "Like why someone would wait 7 years for a person who vanished without a word." I froze, the words hitting harder than I expected. 7 years? He repeated, sensing my reaction. "That's a long time to hold on to hope." I swallowed, my hands gripping my bag. "Hope or maybe obsession," I muttered, more to myself than him. Daniel's gaze softened. "There's a fine line between them, isn't there? Sometimes you only realize it after the fact." I couldn't help but look at him more closely, noticing the warmth in his eyes, the easy way he walked beside me. "You make it sound simple," I said bitterly. "But it's not." He paused, resting a hand lightly on the railing. "I know. That's why I don't pretend it's simple. But sometimes you have to let people help, even if it feels risky." I laughed, more out of nerves than amusement. "Help? You barely know me." He smiled wider. "Sometimes strangers are the best kind of help." I felt an unexpected spark of something I hadn't felt in years, something like trust. "Why are you helping me?" I asked, unable to hide my suspicion. "No catch." He tilted his head, amused. "Maybe there's a catch. Or maybe I just don't like seeing people struggle alone." I frowned, unsure whether to trust him. "People like you usually have an angle," I muttered. He laughed softly. "Maybe. But not this time." I paused outside the archives, taking a deep breath. "I don't know if I can trust anyone right now," I admitted. Daniel looked at me steadily. "I get it. I feel the same. But sometimes, you have to take a small risk to move forward." My heart thumped, the truth of his words sinking in. I wanted to believe him, wanted to feel safe again. But I still thought of Alex, of betrayal and loss. "You're not scared of losing control?" he asked quietly. I hesitated. "I am terrified. But maybe control isn't everything." He smiled, a teasing glint in his eye. "Good. Then let's start with the archives. One step at a time." I nodded, letting myself walk beside him, feeling a cautious warmth. Maybe I was ready to face the world again, even if my heart still carried its scars. I sat at my desk, laptop open, coffee growing cold beside me. "Okay, Alex," I muttered, fingers hovering over the keyboard. "Let's see what secrets you left behind." The first email was from years ago, addressed to me. I hesitated, then clicked it open. "I never stopped thinking about you," it read. My throat tightened. "So he didn't forget me," I whispered. Relief mixed with anger, and I shook my head. "Why didn't you come back?" I muttered, scanning the rest. Another email mentioned threats, deadlines, something that sounded like blackmail. He was trapped. I murmured. All these years, and I had no idea. My phone buzzed. It was Rebecca. "Hey Emma, how's it going?" she asked cheerfully. I forced a smile. "Busy. Just digging through old stuff." There was a pause on the other end. "Be careful," she said finally. "Some things are better left buried." I frowned. "Rebecca, what do you mean?" She laughed lightly. "Nothing. Just, don't let the past ruin your present." I narrowed my eyes. "Really? Or are you hiding something?" She hesitated, then said, "I don't know what you mean." I returned to the emails, scrolling faster now. Old letters, social media messages, bits of conversations. Everything pointed to him being cornered, forced to make choices I couldn't yet understand. "He tried to protect me?" I whispered, feeling a pang of guilt. Or maybe he just used that as an excuse to leave. My mind whirled, mixing hope and rage. "And you, all these people around me. Could they have known too?" I muttered, thinking of Rebecca's words, the subtle smiles, the whispers I thought were friendly. "Emma." Claire's voice came from the doorway. "You've been cooped up here all day. Are you okay?" I rubbed my eyes. "I'm fine." Just a lot to process. She stepped closer. You're obsessed. It's not healthy. You can't live in the past. I shook my head, clutching a printout of one of the emails. I have to know the truth. I can't move on blind. Claire sighed. Just don't lose yourself. Hours passed, the room growing dim. I leaned back in my chair, eyes red, mind buzzing. Every click, every line, every hidden message made my chest tighten. Betrayal wasn't just from Alex. I realized how many people had subtly shaped my misery. Rebecca, I muttered under my breath. I'll get the truth from you too. I picked up the phone, scrolling to her contact, hesitating. Do I call her? Confront her? Or wait? My hand trembled, but I refused to back down. I returned to the laptop, emails filling the screen like ghosts of the past. 7 years wasted? I whispered. But no, not wasted. Each discovery gave me strength, a path forward. I could feel the tide turning. I'll uncover everything, I said aloud. Every secret, every betrayal. No one hides from me anymore. My heart pounded, equal parts fear and determination. I would get my answers, even if it meant facing the people I once trusted the most. I stood in the doorway, my heart pounding. Mrs. Carter? I asked, trying to steady my voice. She looked up from the tea she was pouring, her eyes wary but soft. Emma, she said, nodding slowly. I suppose you have questions. I swallowed hard. I need to know why he disappeared. After all these years, why? She motioned for me to sit, and I obeyed, my hands fidgeting in my lap. It's complicated, she began. Alex, he was under pressure, more than you could ever imagine. He didn't leave because he didn't care. He left because he had no choice. I blinked, trying to understand. Pressure? What do you mean? She took a deep breath. He was being blackmailed. Someone threatened him. Forced him to leave without a word. He tried to protect you, Emma. He thought if he disappeared, it would keep you safe from what was coming. My hands clenched into fists, the mixture of relief and fury swirling inside me. So all this time, I blamed him. And it wasn't even his fault. I whispered, my throat tight. Her eyes softened. I know it's hard, but the truth is out now. You deserve to know. I buried my face in my hands, tears slipping through my fingers. I waited. I waited for 7 years. I wasted so much time. Her voice was gentle. No, you didn't waste it. You loved him, and that shows your heart, Emma. But now you can take back your life. I stood abruptly, pacing. Take back my life? How do I do that when everything feels shattered? She reached out and touched my arm. By letting yourself feel, by accepting the truth, and by making choices for you, not for him. I looked up, my eyes meeting hers. And if I can't forgive him? If the anger is still there? She nodded. Then use it. Let it fuel you. But don't let it consume you. Daniel's voice interrupted my thoughts as he stepped into the room. Emma, are you okay? I glanced at him, trying to gauge whether I could trust him fully. I'm not sure, I admitted. But I'm starting to understand. He came closer and wrapped an arm around my shoulders gently. You don't have to go through this alone, he said softly. I leaned into him briefly, savoring the comfort, yet pulled away before it went too far. I know, but I need to stand on my own first, I said firmly. Her son, Alex's younger brother, peeked in from the hallway. Is she going to be okay? Mrs. Carter asked. She will, I said, surprising myself with my own voice. I have answers now, and I won't let the past control me anymore. I returned to the living room, sitting down with Daniel beside me. I feel everything at once. Anger, grief, relief. I admitted, my voice trembling. And it's exhausting. He squeezed my hand. It's okay to feel it. Let it guide you. I nodded slowly, taking a deep breath. I can't undo the years I lost, but I can choose what comes next. I can decide my own path. No more waiting, no more silence. Mrs. Carter watched me, her expression a mix of relief and sadness. You're stronger than you realize, Emma, she said. I met her gaze, determination settling in my chest. I have to be. For me. Not for anyone else. The truth had broken me, but it had also lit a fire inside me I hadn't felt in years. I would take control now, whatever it took. I paced my apartment, murmuring to myself, I can't just wait anymore. I need to see him. I need answers. Daniel leaned against the counter, sipping his coffee. You really plan to confront him? He asked, his voice calm but curious. I nodded, my jaw tight. Yes. 7 years of silence, Daniel. I deserve the truth. I need closure, or maybe revenge. He raised an eyebrow. Or maybe both? I shot him a look and he smiled slightly. I'm serious. You can't pretend this will be easy. Seeing him will bring everything back. Are you ready for that? I don't know if I'll ever be ready, I admitted, rubbing my temples. But I have to try. I can't let him control my life any longer. Not with secrets, not with lies. Daniel walked closer, lowering his voice. Then we plan. We do this carefully. You decide the rules, the timing, everything. I'll help, but I won't push. My chest fluttered at his proximity, the familiar spark of comfort mingling with temptation. I don't want to depend on anyone, I said, though my hands tingled where he'd touched mine. I can't let feelings distract me now. He chuckled softly. Feelings always sneak in, Emma. You can try to ignore them, but they're there. The question is whether you'll let them guide you or blind you. I turned away, pacing again. I can't be blind. I can't afford mistakes. He already cost me years. Every move has to count. Daniel leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Then start small. Gather information. Decide when and where you'll confront him. Control the environment. Don't let emotion dictate your plan. I nodded slowly. Okay, step 1, figure out where he is now. Step 2, prepare for the conversation. Step 3. I trailed off, my mind racing. Step 3, he prompted. Step 3 is making sure I don't fall apart when I see him, I said, voice cracking. I know I'll be furious. I know I'll want to scream, maybe even hurt him verbally. I have to control it, or at least turn it into power. Daniel's expression softened. That's not easy, but I believe you can. You're stronger than you realize, and you don't have to face it alone. I shook my head. I know you mean well, but this is mine. Daniel, I appreciate you, but this is my battle. He smiled faintly, his eyes serious. Then let me watch your back. Silent support. That's all you need. You take the lead, I'll be there. I inhaled deeply, feeling determination settle in my chest. Fine. But we do it my way. No deviations. No compromises. Later that night, I sat at my desk, plotting every detail. I whispered to myself, I'll know exactly where he is, exactly what to say. I won't let fear or longing control me. I'll get my answers and I'll take my life back. Daniel's quiet presence nearby reminded me I wasn't entirely alone, but I kept my distance. I couldn't let comfort dull my focus. This was my plan, my reckoning, and I had to be ready. No mistakes. No second chances. I clenched my fists, staring at the papers and notes in front of me. Tomorrow, I said. Everything changes. Tomorrow I face him. I spotted him across the cafe, and my heart froze. Alex, I breathed, barely louder than a whisper. He turned, eyes widening, and for a moment the years melted away. Emma, he said, his voice hesitant, almost breaking. My hands trembled, gripping my bag. I stepped closer, my voice sharp. 7 years, Alex. 7 years of waiting. Do you have any idea what that did to me? He swallowed, looking down. I know. I can't imagine what you've felt. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I laughed bitterly, feeling tears sting my eyes. You just disappeared. No explanation, no call, nothing. And now you show up and think sorry is enough. He flinched but kept his gaze on me. I didn't want to leave. I had no choice. I thought if I came back, I'd put you in danger. I shook my head, anger and disbelief warring with the old familiar longing. Danger? You left me alone in pain. I felt abandoned, Alex. Every night I waited, hoping, wishing that you'd return. He took a tentative step closer. I made sacrifices you'll never understand. I lost everything, Emma. Everything to try to protect you from what I couldn't control. My chest tightened, confusion mixing with rage. Protect me? By leaving me to suffer for 7 years? Do you think that's protection? His lips pressed into a thin line. I didn't see another way. I thought I was saving you from harm. I took a deep breath, shaking. You saved yourself, Alex. You saved your career, your life, and left me with the ruins of mine. I know, he admitted quietly. And I regret it every single day. I thought I could make it right later, but time it slipped away and I was too scared. I felt the old spark flicker inside me, a pull I hadn't expected. Too scared. I whispered, voice softer now. You think I can forgive fear after everything? He winced. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I needed you to know I didn't stop caring. I shook my head again, stepping back. You cared, Alex? You call this caring? Tears welled up, blurring my vision. I gave you nothing but silence. He stepped closer, voice pleading. I tried to protect you and myself. I was trapped, Emma. Trapped. I felt my pulse quicken, the old emotions tugging at me. Trapped? You mean selfish, Alex. You were selfish. He flinched at the word, and I could see the weight of his guilt. I swallowed hard, struggling to maintain control. I wanted to hate you, Alex. I wanted to scream and cry, and I did. But now I see you're human. Fragile, scared, flawed. And my voice faltered, my chest tightening. I can't let this pull me under again. He nodded slowly, respect and sorrow in his eyes. I understand. I never wanted to hurt you. I never stopped thinking about you. I took a deep breath, stepping back. Then understand this. I won't let the past control me anymore. I'll remember you, Alex. But I have to protect myself. He nodded, and for the first time, we both looked at each other without pain, only lingering sorrow and unspoken memories. I saw Alex again, though this time it wasn't planned. He looked smaller somehow. We were both at a mutual friend's gathering, and he avoided my gaze. I felt a strange pang, a mixture of satisfaction and pity. I muttered under my breath. Life has a way of catching up. Daniel appeared beside me, following my line of sight. You okay? He asked quietly. I nodded, keeping my voice low. I see the consequences of his choices catching up. Not mine to enforce. He's suffering and I don't have to do anything. Daniel's hand brushed mine gently. You don't have to. You already did what matters, you faced him. That takes more strength than revenge ever would. I smiled faintly, appreciating his presence. It's hard not to feel some satisfaction, I admitted. But seeing him like this, remorseful, exhausted, I feel a strange peace. Daniel looked at me with an understanding smile. That's karma, Emma. It doesn't always hit hard and fast. Sometimes it's subtle, just enough to make people realize their mistakes. I watched Alex from across the room, noting the tension in his shoulders, the way he avoided everyone's eyes. He looks human, I said quietly. Broken, regretful, flawed. Maybe he truly learned something. Daniel nodded. And you? What do you feel? I paused, thinking. I feel lighter, less burdened. I thought I needed revenge to feel better. But now I see it's unnecessary. Life balanced itself. I just had to witness it. He squeezed my hand. And I'll be here to witness it with you. No judgment, just support. I blinked, taken aback by his words. You don't think I'm weak for letting him go? He shook his head. Not at all. It's strength, Emma. Choosing yourself over grudges shows more courage than holding on to anger. I leaned against him slightly, letting the warmth of his presence soothe the tension coiling in my chest. I've been holding so much for so long. I thought closure meant confrontation, revenge, maybe even humiliation. But it's simpler than that. Just accepting it. Daniel tilted his head, his eyes soft, and allowing yourself to move forward. I nodded. Yes. Step by step. I'm not ready for full peace, but I feel it coming. Slowly, quietly. Across the room, Alex's eyes met mine briefly. He bowed his head, a silent apology that didn't need words. I whispered to Daniel. He knows he can't undo the past. He's learned painfully. And I finally understand I don't need to punish him. Daniel smiled, brushing a stray hair behind my ear. That's your choice. And it doesn't diminish your strength. You faced him, saw the truth, and still chose your own life. I exhaled slowly, feeling tension release from my shoulders. It feels freeing. Like I've carried this weight for years and now it's lifting. Daniel's hand stayed steady on mine. Good. That's exactly where you're meant to be. I turned my gaze back to Alex one last time, then away, smiling faintly. Life's subtle justice, I murmured. It doesn't need my hands. And neither do I. Daniel nodded, his loyalty evident, his presence steady. For the first time in years, I felt a quiet calm, a reassurance that I could finally start living for myself, without the past dictating my every thought. I sat on the balcony, the wind whipping through my hair, and whispered to myself, I can't keep holding on to him. Not anymore. Daniel appeared beside me quietly, holding 2 cups of coffee. You look like you're wrestling with the world, he said softly. I took the cup from him without looking. Maybe I am, I admitted. Or maybe I'm wrestling with myself. I've spent years waiting, hoping, hurting. And I realized I can't do it anymore. I need to choose me. He leaned on the railing, watching me carefully. Choosing yourself, that's brave, Emma. But it's scary too, isn't it? I nodded, my voice low. Terrifying. I thought I couldn't be happy without closure from him, without answers that never came. But now I see my happiness isn't tied to Alex. It's tied to me. Daniel smiled gently. And what does that feel like? I paused, looking at the city below. It's like a storm clearing. Like every weight I carried is finally lifting. I can breathe, Daniel. I can finally breathe without guilt, anger, or hope tethered to someone who abandoned me. He stepped closer, offering support without overstepping. You fought so hard for this moment. You deserve it. I let out a shaky laugh. Deserve it? Maybe. But I didn't know I could feel this free. I thought letting go would hurt more, but it doesn't. Or maybe it does at first and then it just transforms into something stronger. Daniel's eyes softened. It's not easy to let go completely. Are you sure you're ready? I met his gaze, firm and unwavering. Yes. I can remember him, acknowledge the pain, but I won't let it rule me. I'm done giving him power over my emotions. I'm done letting the past dictate my future. He nodded, his hand brushing against mine lightly. And this, does it scare you? I hesitated, then admitted. It does. Freedom is strange. Happiness is strange. But I want it. I want to feel life for myself, not through the shadow of someone else's mistakes. Daniel smiled, quietly proud. Then take it. Embrace it. And don't be afraid to let people in when you're ready. I looked at him, sensing the warmth he offered, the trust he earned. I'm cautious. I've learned my lessons. But I can allow hope again, just not tied to him. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of years slip away. I've spent so long waiting for answers, for apologies, for closure. But none of that will give me what I need. Only I can. Only my choices can. And my choice is to live fully, freely, without holding on to what broke me. Daniel squeezed my hand gently. Then live, Emma. Live boldly and don't let fear hold you back. I let a small smile form, the first one in years that felt genuine. I can do that. I'll focus on me, my growth, my life. I'll honor the past but not be imprisoned by it. And maybe I'll let someone in again someday, but carefully. On my terms. Daniel nodded, silent but supportive, letting me feel the strength I hadn't realized I had. The wind carried my whispered words into the night. I choose myself. I always will. And for the first time in years I felt truly alive. I walked down the familiar streets, the crisp morning air filling my lungs. This is it. I whispered to myself, gripping my coat tighter. Daniel walked beside me, quiet but steady. Ready? He asked softly. I nodded, though my chest tightened. I think so. I need to do this for me. Each step felt heavy with memories. Laughter, promises, heartbreak. But I kept moving forward. I'm saying goodbye, I muttered, eyes scanning the cafes and corners where Alex and I once spent hours. Daniel glanced at me, his expression gentle. Saying goodbye doesn't mean forgetting. It means you're choosing yourself. I smiled faintly. I know. And I have to. I've let people and memories control me for too long. It's time to reclaim my life. We stopped outside the coffee shop where Alex and I met all those years ago. I touched the doorframe lightly, imagining him there. So many dreams, all tied to someone who didn't return. I murmured. Daniel's hand brushed mine. But you made it through. That's what matters. I nodded, letting a small laugh escape. I survived. And I'm stronger because of it. Even if it hurt. Later, I met Rebecca one last time. She smiled nervously. Emma, I hope you're okay. I studied her, seeing the subtle manipulation she had once masked as concern. I am, I said firmly. I've realized some people aren't meant to stay in your life, and I'm done letting them shape my emotions. Her eyes widened slightly. So you're cutting ties? I nodded, feeling the finality in my words. Yes. I need space from toxicity, from lingering regrets, and from people who can't be honest with me. I deserve peace. She hesitated, then nodded, silently acknowledging my resolve. Daniel and I walked along the riverside, sunlight glinting on the water. I never thought I'd feel this free, I said quietly. It's strange, bittersweet but freeing. He smiled, letting me talk without interruption. You earned it, he said softly. You faced your past, confronted the pain, and decided to move forward. That's more than most people can do. I exhaled, feeling the tension in my shoulders loosen. All those years of waiting, hoping they shaped me. Painful, yes, but necessary. I wouldn't be who I am now without it. He squeezed my hand gently. And now you get to decide who you become, not anyone else. I looked at him, then out at the sparkling river. Exactly. I can hope for the future without relying on anyone else. I can dream for myself, choose for myself. And that feels amazing. Daniel's eyes softened. I'm proud of you, Emma. Truly. I smiled, feeling warmth in my chest that had nothing to do with Alex or the past. Thank you for standing by me without pushing me. I think I'm ready for what comes next. As the sun climbed higher, I whispered one last goodbye to the streets, the memories and the shadows of the past. I'm done waiting. I'm done holding on to what's gone. This is my life now. Daniel's hand stayed in mine, steady and supportive, but I felt the strength in myself more than ever. I was free. I was whole. And I was ready to live for me. I sat at my kitchen table, sunlight streaming through the window, when the mail slipped through the slot. Most of it was bills and junk, but one envelope caught my eye. Not Alex, I muttered, picking it up. The handwriting was familiar but not his. I hesitated, heart fluttering with curiosity. Who would be sending me something now? I whispered. I carefully opened it, unfolding the letter. A familiar voice spoke from the paper. Someone I had helped months ago during my own journey. Someone whose life I had touched without expecting anything in return. Emma, it began. I don't know how to say this in person, so I hope this letter will do. Your guidance, your kindness, it changed my life. You reminded me that I have strength, that I can fight through fear and doubt. I'm grateful for your presence, even when I didn't understand it fully. You gave me hope when I had none, and I will never forget it. My hands trembled, gripping the letter tighter. They remember me, I whispered, tears threatening to spill. I read the letter aloud softly, my voice catching. Every word, it's like a mirror. You helped me, and now you're helping me see my own worth. I never thought my struggles could inspire someone else. I never thought I could make a difference. Daniel stepped quietly into the kitchen, sensing my emotional state. Who's it from? He asked gently. I looked at him, my eyes shining. Someone I helped along the way months ago. I thought I was just surviving, just moving forward, but apparently I also made an impact. He smiled, sitting beside me. That's amazing, Emma. You see? Your actions, your growth. They ripple out in ways you don't always realize. I nodded, holding the letter close. It's strange. All this time I was waiting for closure, for someone to fix what was broken. But now I see. Closure can come from the lives we touch, from the strength we find in ourselves. Not from apologies or excuses. Daniel's hand brushed mine gently. Exactly. You created your own closure. You didn't need Alex or anyone else. You did it yourself. I let out a shaky laugh, a mixture of relief and joy. I guess I did. And this letter, it's proof that even after pain there's space for growth, for gratitude, for new beginnings. I folded the letter carefully, setting it on the table like a treasure. Life is mine again, I whispered. I've survived, I've grown, and now I can live fully, freely. No waiting, no longing, just me and the life I choose. Daniel nodded, smiling softly. And the best part? You've learned that you can impact others without expecting anything in return. That's real strength. I leaned back, taking a deep breath, the sun warming my face. It's bittersweet but empowering. I let go of the past, embraced myself, and now I see the beauty of life in every small connection, every act of kindness. My story isn't defined by loss. It's defined by resilience, growth, and the lives I touch. I smiled, feeling a calm I hadn't felt in years. The letter rested in front of me, a symbol of everything I had become. Life was mine, fully, completely, and unapologetically mine.